think this is kind of separate, but I think we all have like things about ourselves that we just naturally do.
Yeah.
And I wasn't like naturally just rhyming out the womb, like that's not what I'm saying. But
Yeah.
I think like we all have skills that like we have that are like inside of us that like come out in a natural way. And the more things that we try, like music, sports, all these different things, they like reveal like things that are like true within us. And then it's all about like trusting like what that could look like long term, like the skills that are inside you since you were a little kid, like I don't know, managing like let's say you're a friend, but you're always the friend that has everyone at your house. You know, you're a networker. You like bringing people together. Like that's just a skill. That's just a skill that like you can actually use towards bigger things, you know? And it's something you do naturally.
I love that.
That's dope.
On that note, welcome to the Syndicated Podcast. I'm here with a special guest, hometown hero, artist, and producer, Brennen Charles. How you doing today?
Good, bro.
You got an album coming out, 2/22, correct? You leaked it not too long ago. Some great music on there. Go ahead and give me some intro about what you got coming up, my guy.
Well, I got an album coming out. You said 2/2. Been working on it for the past 6 months. It's my first body of music I've ever released. So there's a lot of feelings in that. A lot of long time coming feelings, and just a lot of excitement because I feel like I'm finally in a position to where I can get out these visions that like I've had for myself and just for my career. And so it's exciting, and yeah, we got a lot of stuff coming in the future for sure.
You touched on visions. So with this album, what was like the whole purpose you had when you were making it? 'Cause I know a lot of artists will say like there was like a driving force behind each body of work they put out. So what would you say yours was with this one?
Man, it's a lot of things. First off, I love creating experiences. Like, I love when I listen to, you know, Kendrick, or when I listen to like To Pimp a Butterfly or Damn. It's like
classic.
I love how they can encapsulate you in an experience through the music.
Yeah, you're really immersed in it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I just think it's the coolest thing to be able to create experiences for people and to express yourself in that way.
Yeah.
So I love creating experiences, and so like the album to me is almost like an experience. But in the beginning, it was like I was in a situation where I went through a lot of personal things this past year, and I wasn't doing music, but music just like kept coming back to me. Like even when I was like trying to like not do it, like my own music I'm talking about, I just kept finding myself in the studio, and I just kept having fun with it, and it just got to a point where. You know, my own music was my original goal. And then I realized that I could help a lot of people. And so then I started, you know, diversifying like my time to people, and I started, you know, making really good money out of high school. And so I was like, I'll stop rapping. Like, I don't need to rap. Like, I'll just help everyone else rap. You feel me? Exactly. And so, so my music got really put on the back burner for 3 years. But that was my original vision, and that's what I love most about it. Like, I love making music, and I like being able to express myself in that way. But so it was like I was in this situation where it was like I can go one or two ways. Like I can go this way or I can go that way, and I chose to go that way because it's been my dream for so long. And so around August, I moved out of a living situation that I was in, and then I got placed in just a blessing situation with Josiah, with his dad. And I was able to have a space where I had freedom, and I had like my studio in there, and it was just back to the basics moment. And I was just like, I know that I'm an artist. I know that I can do this, but it's like, if I don't have a plan, then I plan to fail. Like, you fail to plan, you plan to fail.
Yeah.
And so I was like 6 months out, I was like, I'm gonna make an album, and it's coming out on 2/22. It's coming out on 2/2/22, and that was in like August. And so I basically like just started going to the studio and just started making as many songs as I could. And then like I basically had like 75 records to like pick from. And then I was like, and then like originally I had an idea for what I wanted the album to be. Yeah. But it's slow, but I also was like aware that like I can't like put a cap on what I'm creating almost. Like I don't want to create like with total tunnel vision. Yeah. I want to be able to create and then like look at the body and then like be inspired by all the body and all the songs that I have and then collect that into a vision.
Yeah.
And so I was blessed enough to get the vision for the album like 3 months before. So then like in the final stretch of the album, I was able to more create towards like a central theme and almost like certain textures and certain sounds that I was trying to go for. Mm-hmm. So it like slowly and slowly started becoming more and more hounding and stuff. And yeah, that's when we got the mirror.
A lot of the time with things like this, you always ask somebody when they knew they were going to get into music. And ever since I've known you, music's been your biggest thing. It's been your passion. It's been your driving force. It was a thing we were talking about before you got here. People would always in high school, we went to school together, and they'd make fun of the fact that you were so passionate about what you were into. And then fast forward about a year or so after that, you were part of a very popular track in the Washington area. You had the driving force behind that. That was Faygo. And that's when people started realizing your music was serious, you were serious. So what was that growth process like for you when other people were realizing it and then when you realized it for yourself?
I think it's just a refining process. Like, you know, when everyone doubts you, it's like it makes you, it just makes it more serious. Like, what do you believe? You feel me? Like, everyone can doubt you, but it's like, I think if it stands the test of time of like it doesn't matter what other people say. Yeah. I think that's like what it was for me is like, I just love music. Like, I didn't care what anyone thought. Like, I was really just, I don't know, you guys remember I was just rap battling people, dropping diss tracks on people that were popular in high school,
just
like
having fun. Man. That's what it was all about.
Just having fun, but low key like creating like conflict. I remember like in high school there was this person, Jacob Sermon, and we like dropped a diss track. So I wasn't even playing football, but like all my bros were on football, and they're like, man, we got beef with this guy. I was like, oh, they got beef with you. I'm beef with it. Then I dropped a diss track on him and it like blew up, but it was just fun. Like, I feel like I've always liked to create, like,
Sermon, if you're hearing this, it's all love.
Yeah, it's all love, bro. But I like to create, I don't know, I like to mess things up almost. Like, I like to create things that make people, like, change or, like, react and, like,
you don't like just fitting into the lines of society.
Yeah, I've never liked that.
Things up, change the game.
Yeah, I've never liked that.
Conflict creates conversation. Conversation creates news.
Yeah,
that's the goal. So
and as a youngin', I was just having fun, and I was trying to get that reaction out of him. Yeah, you know, and like, and then that was just fun. But I've always just loved to do that, and so it's been a process. You know, like you said, everyone doubting you to everyone believing in you.
Crazy, right?
And with one record, it's just like almost just like. I just know God's just laughing. Like, he's just looking up. He's just like,
I got you.
You know what I'm saying? But no, it's a blessing. That record was amazing to be a part of. And yeah, it definitely changed my mindset from going to like, I believe that I can do this to like, now the whole world can believe that I can do this. Regardless of if they know what I did on a song, it's like, whoa. Like something that I contributed towards was able to impact this many people. Yeah, I can definitely do this.
Yeah. To speak more to your talent, what a lot of people don't know, Blueberry Faygo, that Lil Mosey song that went something times platinum by now. Who knows? 4 times. Jesus Christ. 4 times platinum. The man's not even 22 yet. But that Blueberry Faygo song, a lot of people don't know about it. You mixed, mastered, and produced that in like your bedroom.
Yeah, we did it in my bedroom.
Like that. No studio, no professional setup.
Snap. It was crazy to see that because I heard it and it's so catchy. It flows so nice. You did that thing nice. Dude. And so when it starts playing for the first time because that initial like leak or whatever it was came out, I'm like,
people got addicted. That song was going everywhere. You couldn't
where's this at? I'm
TikTok.
Like, I'm trying to hear this.
YouTube, Instagram. I remember I was leaking it on SoundCloud. I was like, no, it's not out yet, but I need this.
It was ear crack, bro. It was just ear crack. Like, there's something about it that was just cracked. Like, I think music is very, like, how music does, it's very dependent on the time. This was before COVID, so this was like 2019. Yeah. You know, like everyone was just like 2019 was a good year.
White
like
boy summer, dude.
Bro, like for real, for real. Like 2019, like summer, like was that not a good summer for y'all?
That was a great summer.
It was a great summer.
I think that's when we first started to talk.
Yeah, it was. That's when I came back to Washington because I lived in Indiana for a little bit.
And I feel like that song just almost like encapsulated the feeling of the summer.
It was great. That song was, bro. When I saw you holding up that platinum plaque, I was like, my nigga made it. Like literally, I was like, yo.
Well, platinum now that happened, do you ever like find people trying to approach you and you kind of have this like in the back of your head, well, I have to kind of question their motives or?
Just depends on the situation.
Yeah.
Just depends on the situation.
You know, that's a great question. Now that you've actually started finding success in your life, you're moving more places, you're moving smarter. How do you pick and choose who you really keep around yourself? That's something that a lot of people need to work on.
Sure.
To get better, especially in a business like yours and music.
Let me tell you this, bro. if you don't have your family, bro, you're screwed.
Amen.
Like, you're literally screwed. Like, I've seen a lot of people do it by themselves, and I've seen people do it with their families, but it's like, I'm able to like learn from the people that went before me and their experiences.
Yeah.
And, you know, the reality is like when you get money and you start touching success, and, you know, and let's say you're also a generous person, you know, people can take advantage of you.
Yeah.
And I think that's just life, you know, like it's not just my situation. It's not just a couple people's situation. It's just people that touch monetary success. You know, they have people that, you know, want things from them. And 100%. I actually talk about that in the album like a couple times.
Amen. Circling back to that. Oh, no, keep going.
But yeah, bro, family, you know, I got my brothers with me, Mason, Jesh. That's my team. And like, just staying like to your roots, like my little sister, that's my gravity, you know, Allie.
Yeah.
Shout out Allie.
Great
friend of mine.
Allie.
Shout out Allie.
Great
so like, if I don't talk to Allie at least once a week, whether it's Snapchat, texting, call her, FaceTime, or whatever, see a TikTok on her TikTok, it's like my gravity can start to shift towards, you know, just other things. So it's just important to like figure out like what is your gravity, what keeps you down.
Yeah. I like that, your gravity. I'm gonna start saying
your
that
gravity.
shit. Okay, but hey, circling back to yourself, you touched on yourself, touched on the music you make for other people. Now I know people tend to care a little bit more about their own stuff. Now you're a generous person. Now you pour your heart and soul, whether it's your music, whether it's someone else's music. But how would you like differentiate the process between creating for yourself and know what you want versus creating for others and they give you like a curated list and like something that they're trying to achieve?
Let me add a little bit to that. Like, what is your ideal like situation? So when you get into a studio, I'm sure there are situations that you're more comfortable with than others, more artists you're comfortable with than others. You don't gotta say any names, obviously, but like, what's that ideal situation look like for you?
Ideal situation, bro, is first off, I'm centered as a person. Like, I love when I'm like in my body and I'm feeling what I feel and I'm validating how I feel. Yeah. And so once I'm able to validate wherever I'm at in that moment or in that day or whatever time of day it is, it's like I'm tapped into my emotions. So now when I'm tapped into my emotions, I'm tapped into the sauce and I'm able to encapsulate the emotions that I'm feeling through sound after that. Yeah. And so as far as team wise, you know, my bro Johnny Made, that's my brother. He's crazy. Usually how it goes down is I'll hit him up, be like, hey, bro, I need melodies. And he's like, bro, sent me 500 melodies like a couple of days ago. Like, he's just crazy. He's just in his studio just tweaking stuff all day. And he just sends me vibes. And so then after I'm like encapsulating the feeling that like I want to go for, or let's say I want to like write about a certain thing that's on my heart or just an experience that like inspired me, finding which sounds relate to the feeling that I'm experiencing in my heart. And then usually what happens, I record on a melody, and then after I record on the melody, I add the drums in between my vocal to kind of fill out the entire record. But what was the question you asked? Because that's kind of
for me it was how do you differentiate when you're curating music for yourself?
Okay,
the music you're making for others. So I know when it's you have your own vision, your own personal touch, your own emotions you want to put into it. Yeah, other people's music, have a goal.
It's just hard because like I love being able to do it for other people, but in this past year of my life when I really started to feel like the tug on my heart that's like, bro, like you need to do this for yourself.
Amen.
Like you need to do this for yourself. What is honestly probably my biggest talent when I work with other people is I have vision for them. Like when I work with them, I understand what they're trying to go for, and like there's a level of trust that like they trust me, I trust them to do what they do, but it's like I'm not approaching it just from an engineer or a producer, but also from an artist perspective. Yeah. So I'm able to like give them what I would do, like, or what they should do. You know what I'm saying? And so it's really helpful and it's fun because it's almost like I get to like just give them what I think would be the most fire in my head. Like whatever, that's an idea, that's a transition, whether that's a beat choice or whatever it is, or a lyric or something. So to answer your question, it's a control thing. It's different. Like when I'm working with myself, I have full control, and I haven't been able to say like I have control of this because as an engineer, it's like the artist, producer, engineer. It's like there's a little bit of a totem pole to it, and so depending on the situation, like let's say like Drake pulled up on me right now. Like I doubt he's gonna hear anything that I'm gonna tell him about ideas or anything like that. But like if I'm the artist, I have just control of what I want to create, and so it's kind of like it's just funny to look back because like for the longest time, like this feeling of like, not like I need to like get these ideas out were like so hibernated. Like they were just hibernating inside of me for the longest time. And now it's like, I finally am in a position where I can just create literally what I want to create.
Yeah, that's the cool thing about music is you can put it down and pick it up whenever you want.
Mm-hmm.
You can always come back to it.
Facts.
Speaking of all that, you said you had 75 songs you chose from. How were you able to whittle it down for your album? Because your album only has what, like 7 songs on the track list?
17.
17, because I knew there was a 7 and 17. So how'd you go from 75 to 17? Because that's a lot of songs you got to drop out.
Yeah, I think that's a good question. I think it's obviously my favorite songs on the song. Like what, I don't know, you just gotta have so many different, you have to have so many different perspectives on it. It's like, I'm a very empathetic person.
Very true.
So I'm able to be able to like feel how other people feel.
With them, yeah.
Yeah, with them, right.
Yeah.
Whether that's good or bad, you know, like that's kind of like a double-edged sword, but.
I'm the same way.
Yeah.
I'm not.
I'm not gonna but hey, that's cool though. That's cool. I think we need both. You know, we'd be like, hey, bro, you tripping. Like, don't feel what I'm feeling right now. Like, just stay on you. But, yeah, like, I think it's all about, like I said, back to the control. Like, I want to be able to create an experience for people. So I have to take myself almost out of an artist perspective and put myself in a consumer perspective, in an artist standpoint. Yeah. And so I've just been trying to, like, put myself in other people's shoes and try to give them what I think is fire and what they want to hear. And so like there's songs that are just like creative and just weird, and then there's songs that are maybe too personal, or maybe there's songs where I'm doing something that doesn't necessarily fit the theme of the song, or maybe I'm talking about something that doesn't fit the theme of the record. Mm-hmm. And so then just like slowly and honestly, it's emotional. It's an emotional process because like these are my babies. Like when you create them, it's like your babies and stuff. So like I'm just like low key crying, like crossing off which ones I don't want. But no, it's a process, and it definitely takes a lot of thinking, and it also takes like trusting people around you. Like Mason, he executive produced the album, and I basically like he helped me create the track list. Basically, like, all right, yeah, this don't really fit. This one's fire, but let's hold it. All right, yeah, this one's fire. Let's put that at number 4. You know what I'm saying? Just that whole process. And so like once we listened through all the records, and we were like, this one needs to go. This one can stay. This one needs to go. This one needs to stay. This one needs to go. This one needs to stay. With the vision and like the emotion that I'm trying to convey, it just kind of like came about.
All right, well, give us a bit of a deep dive into the album. It's called The Mirror. Mm-hmm. What curated that name behind it? What's the defining moments behind each and every, or not each and every song? Yeah. Of course, you may want to wait for that. But like maybe pick 3 of your favorite tracks, and what kind of motivated those tracks? What you were feeling when you put those together?
Yeah, yeah, that's a big question. When I started making the album, it wasn't under the mirror. Okay. I was coming actually in a situation where I actually lived at a church home for a year because I was practicing my spirituality, and I was practicing Christian practices, and I was, trying to tap in with the Lord. And I went on this journey of self-discovery and all these things. And this is at the time of like the success with Faygo. It was like right when I really started getting serious about like my spirituality, because it felt like it was interconnected in a way. It felt like it was connected. And so, coming out of that, making the decision that I don't want to have to go to church every Sunday. I don't, because I got involved like in the church for like I started doing stuff for them, and like I had schedule, and like I had all this stuff that I was like doing, and like responsibilities and stuff. But I decided that I just wanted to walk away from it, and that I wanted to go explore, and I didn't want to take life, so serious and so black and white. And so coming out of the album, because that's what happened. I started to really take life really seriously, and there's certain like pinnacle situations of just conversations with people of like, yeah, maybe this isn't the total answer, or maybe it is, and so because I was really trying to figure out the meaning of life for real. Like I was really trying to get serious. I'm like, all right, God, like if this is it, like I'm gonna do it, and I'm gonna just do it if this is really it. But I don't think it's that simple of a question to ask. Yeah. But anyways, so I came out of that, and that had been my identity for like a year. You know, just being submerged in that, and there's a lot of shame leaving that. There's a lot of things in my practice that, you know, I pushed away, feelings, desires, motives, and, you know, a lot of that is good. You know, I was in a very pure mindset, very pure state of mind, you know, only wanting good for people. But yeah, I pulled away from that, and I almost felt a lot of shame from like, not from them, but I think it was self-inflicted shame of like that voice in my head of like condemning me and like judging me, and like almost like a route, like keeping tallies on like stuff. And so it's kind of complicated, and it's a little bit confusing too. But when I started making the album, I started to really let everything out, everything that I was feeling. I told myself, I heard a interview with Baby Keem, and Baby Keem was talking about you can't like be afraid of expression. And that really stuck with me, because it was like, even though I wasn't submitting to these desires and I wasn't doing certain things, like I still had certain feelings, you know, but I was, you know, trying to fight them, and I was trying to pray them away, you know, and I was trying to like just be the best person, and it made me really stiff as a human. And but so when I started making the album, I was really just finally embarking in these feelings and ideas and dreams that had been so dormant inside of me throughout this year process of my life. And so about 2 months in, I had the idea for the album. Actually, no, I had the idea like 3 years ago to call it Heavens, to make an album and call it Heavens. Basically, I wanted to like create a body of work that inspired people, that made them feel feelings of joy and safety and hope. And this was at a time where I was going through really dark things. So it's cool to think that like I was still trying to release that, even though my present situation, it was like I was almost trying to create my own reality through the music and then share it with people. But as I was creating the album, I was like, low key, I don't know if that's the album like I want to like make like right now. Down the line, that's something I'm gonna release. But I was taking a shower, and I walked out, and I have a disco ball above my piano, and I was just looking at it, and the sun just peeked through my window, and it smacked the disco ball right as I was looking at it. And when it smacked the disco ball, it was like this pure beam of light, and it just lit up the whole room, and the whole room was like a disco ball, like a disco room. Mm-hmm. And when I saw that, it was just this beautiful thing of like light, reflections, different perspectives, all of these things that I'm experiencing right now, of like my own perspective of myself, people's perspective of me, people's perspective on a bunch of different things. And so I was looking at this light, and I was like trying to like encapsulate what I was feeling. And so I just go to my whiteboard, and I'm like, reflection, light, mirror, the mirror. And then I was like, whoa.
There you go.
Yeah, that's all. Then right when I wrote the mirror, I was like, whoa.
That's it. And
so that it was just like it encapsulated just my experience of dealing with other people's perspective of me. Yeah. Because the mirror, it's this whole concept of like what I see in the mirror is different from what you see in the mirror. Exactly. You know, and when I put a mirror,
that's what a disco ball is. It's one object with a bunch of different.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
That's what life is when you think about it. We're all just reflections of one another. Like you might see something about somebody, but like you show them.
Not really.
Reflectors of how you feel about yourself.
Exactly.
Hell, light reflects off your eyes when you're looking at shit. Like so many things about life just have to do with reflection and perspective. That's why I saw your cover art. I'm gonna put that up for people to see. Yeah. And I saw your track list. I was like, this dude is really coming for like a passion project.
Yeah.
That's
for real.
That's
the
what
music
I
on this album is gonna be
about
real.
A lot of this so much is how you carry yourself and how you talk about this. Is like you're not afraid to get honest about, like you said, you're not afraid of expression. And so a big thing that we wanted and we talked about when starting the show was being able to come together as a younger generation as men and be able to talk about things that aren't usually talked about. And so I feel like it's very important, and I appreciate a lot that you're just so willing to share these things, especially in that perspective.
Yeah.
I love the way you talk too, man. I love it.
Bro, one thing I can say about Brennen, honestly, his whole family as a whole, is they have very strong foundational values.
They do.
On top of that, everyone there is super empathic, and you can tell, like, when you're around Brennen, when you're around Allie,
when you're around
who I used to be able to tout with, you feel like family. I mean, I remember I bought your mom a birthday cake not too long ago, just because she had been so nice to me at times, like when I first moved here.
Yeah, she was always super nice to me.
No, she's the best.
But no, touching back onto that album and everything you put together, you mentioned earlier you got the strong empathic feelings. You want to stay close to your roots. You helped Mason help you pick a lot of those songs you put on the final track list. So you talked about what differentiated those songs from the others. What motivated you to keep working? Because like, your team is the guys you're closest with. Mason and Jess, shout out them in the back. But a lot of people find it hard to work with the people they know. What motivated you to keep everybody around and bring everyone up together?
This is how I see it, bro. We got everything we need. You feel me? Like your friends, that's all you need, bro. All you need is a vision. And thank God you blessed me with vision, because that's it. Like, if you got a vision and you got people around you that love you and that got an engine on them, even if that engine is in the wrong direction right now, even if they're pointing at the wrong thing, if they got an engine in them and you come together and you get serious, that's all you need, bro. Like, really. And so it's just that engine mentality. Like, I'm an engine, Jesh's engine, right. Mason's engine. Right. You know, we were just all pointed at different things. And so now let's figure out how we can align,
community,
wrap ourselves with some rope and point at the same thing. And it's really helpful having a team, because it's like, I call Mace, I'll be like, Mace, hey, I need you to be on my ass. Like, I've been lacking in the studio. Like check in on me on Friday, and if I don't have 6 new records, get on me. You know, like I need to be at that rate of producing and stuff. So like having a manager is so clutch, because it's like, it's almost like it's like you versus you. But like when you have a manager, it's like you can take the responsibilities and almost that nagging in your head and low-key like put it on like a physical person. Yeah. And like help you, you know what I'm saying?
You can't like let it go.
Yeah, exactly.
You can be like,
exactly. But if you have the bro, you're like, hey bro, I need you to like be on me for this. And he's on you for that, and he keeps you going, you know. So
I love that. That's a great way to look at it.
Was that your question?
Yeah, no, that was exactly it. It was just like what motivated, because a lot of people like me, when I started getting into real estate, you'll notice people that hung around back then.
Start and stop.
You don't see any of those people I used to hang around with around me at all, and it's because like I realized I had to make a directional shift. So that's why I was like, I saw that you would be able to not only make that directional shift, but do it with the same people. You had everyone shift with you, and that's something I really respect. That's hard to do. It's hard. It's one thing to have a vision,
not for sure,
but to be able to make the people beside you see the same vision, and get people that are maybe pointed north and south
for
all
sure,
start going
for
east.
Sure.
That's definitely a gift, and I think that's a big thing. You see that all the time when people go on these TED Talks, wherever they can just immerse a crowd. They can just encapsulate a bunch of people. And give them that sense of community. We're all in this together. We're all striving for one goal. Let's go out there and let's go get it. And I think you're one of those people who have been able to do that. And I've always said about you too, is you're one of those people who's been able to, in such a short period of time, give so many different people so many different opportunities and create more for yourself.
Right.
And so it's not just a I want. It's a I want, and I want to be able to give stuff to other people. I want to be able to give back to my community. And I want to even change how my community operates, because in the way that it's treated some of us hasn't been so kind. And so that's a big thing that I've been respecting about you, is you go and get it. And it doesn't matter who's telling you what or what's going on. Is the idea and the plan is still the same. You're going to go get it because you want a better life for not only yourself, but for other people that you feel deserve it.
There's an amazing quote that I like. It's like, no one's
perfect. That was really beautiful.
I like that.
Really, he's a good speaker, bro.
That's why he's here, man. It's just like, I saw this quote and it was just like, no one's perfect. I'm not perfect either, but I'm consistent, and that's why I'm going to be better tomorrow. And I like that, because at the end of the day, you can't achieve perfection in anything you do. But if you have a magnet of consistency, you're always going to get better. And then who you are tomorrow is going to be better than who you were yesterday. Who you are a week from today is going to be better than who you were that time you were looking for something. So it's always a great thought and idea that you can create, you can lead, and you can bring people apart with you.
Yeah. And I think it's also like playing your part. You know, I've always been a like, okay, let's go back to the original thing we were talking about, like doing things naturally.
Yeah.
Like when I was in 6th grade, I was creating clans on Xbox.
Yep.
And so that was something I naturally did. I naturally brought people together, and I liked assigning things to people, and I liked doing certain things. Like that's something I'm good at. The smaller tasks is what I'm not as good at. You know, the smaller nitty gritty things. Yeah. And that's what's important about having a team, having people that can execute those small things that lead towards the vision. But yeah, like I honestly forgot where I was going with that. But,
that's all good.
But I started thinking about Xbox.
Things. We were talking about natural leadership.
Oh yeah, leadership. Playing your role. So like, being honest with yourself about this is my talent. Yeah. And I don't necessarily know what it can offer. Yeah. But bro, we all have so many talents that are like either we don't realize it, or they're just left dormant because you ain't have a positive person in your life to be able to be like, hey, you got this in you, you know? Like, 100%. And so what was really positive about that whole experience with church was like, I had people around me that really loved me, you know, and they told me things about myself, and, you know, they prayed over me, and, you know, they gave me just almost like a confidence that I needed in myself. And so back to like having good people around you, like we all need people. Let's bring up the mirror again. We need the mirror we need people to be reflecting the good things in us, you know, and because we're not perfect. We know that. But it's like, if I'm constantly reflecting the negative things inside of you, what is that doing for you? And so like building a mirror of people around you that are reflecting good things and are holding you accountable and that are there for your best. I think that's really important.
I won't take up too much of your time. Go ahead.
No, this is dope.
I was gonna say sometimes also it's you're your own worst enemy. Mm-hmm. So you see yourself and you go, I'm not doing anything. Mm-hmm. It's like, well, you are. Give yourself some credit. And so sometimes those are the people that are gonna sit you down and be like, take a break, man. Relax. Like you are doing enough.
If you woke up today, you're doing something. If you got out of bed today, you're doing something. If you went to work today, you're doing something. Like, a lot of people get so hung up on results because we live in a social media driven age where you see people posting all the best things about their life and leaving out the worst. You start to compare yourself to them. You got to realize no one is being completely forthright on social media. You're not seeing the 24/7 hours of their life. You don't know what's really going on. So to hold yourself to a standard of someone that you don't even maybe know personally, that's maybe 3 years ahead of you, has been doing this longer, it's just not something that's sustainable, nor is it something that you should be doing. But you mentioned community, and you're big on community. You're a local. I'm a local. He's a local. We've all been here. And we all know Seattle is Washington as a whole is a very competitive space.
Yeah.
That's
a good word for it.
Yeah, because I didn't want to say disrespectful. But competitive space. Because people, they might have a mutual respect for you, but at the same time not want you to succeed more than they do just because you guys are in the same area. Yeah. So for like, what helped you, and what do you feel like if someone else was coming out of the Seattle area, wanting to make music like you do, wanting to find the success you are while still being grounded, and because you're still the same person you always were, and that's hard to do. A lot of people say money changes them, and success changes people, but at the end of the day, you're always going to be you. You got your team that's always going to be them. So what do you have to say for another person from the same area trying to do what you do right now?
Yeah, it sounds cliche, but really, really follow your heart. Like, I was having a conversation with my brother JD yesterday, and we were talking about certain things, and I said, hold on, bro. Well, what's your heart telling you? And he said, well, my heart's telling me this, but then my mind, but then I start thinking, and I'm like, right there, bro. You just answered your own question. I just asked you what your heart was telling you, and you told me. But then right when you told me what your heart was telling you, you started to run it back with your mind, and your mind started to make you double back on your heart. And it's like, there's certain times where you need to turn the heart off. Don't get me wrong. But if we're talking about like life, and we're talking about, you know, motivating people, I think following your heart is really the most important thing that you can do. And so developing that intuition of like, okay, this is my mind talking right now, and okay, no, this is my spirit talking right now, and my heart. And so I think I just say follow your heart, bro. Follow your dreams, and don't be afraid. That's what I think keeps a lot of people in chains, is they're afraid. And for whatever reason, you know, I was afraid of a lot of things. You know, there's a lot of people, even in the church, you know, that I started to realize like there's this like fear God,
Yeah.
of, and that's a
publicly claiming them too. There's a very big fear about being public about it and being open
No.
about your faith.
Right, but then there's also this fear of like, oh, if I do this, is God gonna love me?
Oh, that's true.
And that's a whole other thing. And so like, whatever that fear is to you, whatever the big boss in your head is to you, that's talking to you, you got to evaluate what that voice is.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the times it's insecurity and doubt, and that's not from God. Like for me at least, like insecurity, doubt. But a lot of the times, if you don't check in with yourself and you're not evaluating it, it's like you get into the striving mentality and you start doing all these things. It can just throw you off. So fear and following your heart. Just be able to evaluate what the fear is. And something, David Goggins, I'm sure you listen to.
Yes, sir.
Bro, he be talking about, I wake up every day and I think about what I'm afraid of.
I love the impression.
And then I go do it. You feel me? And then I do it again. And then I show all these motherfuckers that I'm going to do it again.
Waking up scared.
Yeah, exactly.
Bitches.
Exactly.
They told me
I ain't scared.
They told me I can't be the one. I said, why can't I be the first?
No, but really, like, if you live with that mentality, like,
it's the why so instead of why not.
Yeah, right. And but fear, the feeling that we're able to identify fear with, it could be stress, it could be all these things, and it actually has a physical impact on our bodies. Like our bodies can feel this fear, and it almost feels like a weight. Yeah. And so a lot of the times it's like fight or flight, right? David Goggins talks about the fight. Don't flight from it. You got to fight that, because I think fear is actually, in certain situations, like, okay, if someone's got a gun and someone's shooting and your body's telling you run.
Yeah.
But like, if we're talking about goals and we're talking about dreams and visions that you have for yourself, and fear comes up, even like weightlifting, like if you're too afraid for people to judge you at the gym, it could be a million things. Yeah. Push into the fear. Be able to realize that your body is sending you these signals because it's trying to protect you, right? Yeah. But you got to tell your body, hey, I can handle this, and I'm gonna push through this. That's how you sharpen yourself. That's how you sharpen your mind, and that's how you just keep pushing.
I think it also makes sense. Yeah, I think it also makes people less scared, kind of knowing it's like, well, so I'm gonna go to that gym and somebody's gonna make fun of me, but if I'm looking at somebody who I know hasn't been there for very long, I'm like, good job, you're getting after it, you're getting down. So now in my own head, I know that person that's gonna see me and judge me, they're probably not a great person. Yeah. They're probably pretty negative. And I can feel better instead of fearful knowing that I'm not like that. Yeah. I'm going to see other people and be supportive of their W's. I'm not going to be like, oh, that person's trying to win, but I want to be the best, because a lot of the times I do want to be the best. Yeah. But just because I'm not doesn't mean that it's like I'm going to be so like negative towards other people. Yeah. So I think that there's that of some people are just negative. Mm-hmm. They just are inherently negative.
What a lot of people need to understand in terms of that fear thing, there's no such thing as comfortable improvement. If you're comfortable, you're not improving. And if you're improving, you're sure as hell not fucking comfortable. There you go. And it's just because, like, even with physical growth, you get stretch marks. That's just life.
Yeah, Oscar Slaughters.
Straight up. So it's like, there's nothing you can do where you're trying to improve yourself that'll progress.
And get where you want to be, that's going to keep you comfortable.
Yeah, because if you're comfortable and you're stagnant, and in this life, you're either moving forward or you're left behind. There's no such thing as staying in place. You can't do that.
Sink or swim, baby.
Exactly. So we touched on community, we touched on your personal ideas and values. So when people listen on this album, what is it that you want them to, because I know maybe you don't have a different takeaway for different people, but what's the overall sense that you want people to take away from listening to this body of work?
Man, I want people to be able to be inspired to be fearless. A lot of the things that I'm talking about, I know we're having a very philosophical, positive conversation, but a lot of the music is a lot of just raw emotion and things that I feel good or bad. Yeah. And I think it's important to validate those feelings and to not keep them dormant. Yeah. And so I want people to walk away and be able to hopefully listen to almost the contradiction in my voice. I think I was really afraid of contradicting myself when I was like in this past year of my life. Like I thought I need to be consistent. Okay, when people talk to me, they gotta have my word, and I can't be doubling back. Or okay, if I inspire a person to do better and I'm not doing better, then damn, that's on me then. Yeah. Like, and just wearing like almost too much responsibility on myself. Yeah. I think there's beauty in the contradiction,
yeah,
almost, because we're not perfect, you know, like we're really not perfect. And so me with this album is just it's a reflection of all the things inside of me, good and bad, things that are almost like fantasies, and almost like I honestly write a lot of the songs from like a fantasized perspective.
Yeah.
Just because I like to create what I want to feel sometimes.
Yeah.
But yeah, I hope it encourages people to be able to realize like the mirror is ultimately what they like their control of what they see in the mirror.
Yeah.
And a lot of the times people are, you know, they look in the mirror and they're thinking, oh, what's Trey gonna see, or what's this person gonna see, or what's the other person gonna see. So take the time, look yourself in the mirror with compassion and empathy, and just accept yourself for who you are, and don't cap yourself, and don't sell yourself short, and validate your emotions.
That's a Kodak moment. I'm gonna TikTok that. But besides the point, I know, I was like, damn,
for this whole thing.
That was fucking nice. Honestly, it's been a pleasure. Thank you for being here.
Yeah, man.
It's been amazing,
If you had something you would want to, like, say there's like an artist dead or alive. I always like to ask, I want to end on like a cool question.
Mm-hmm.
What's one artist you want to work with, dead or alive, in terms of producing, making music, whatever the case may be?
Big
Maybe a group of
inspiration.
artists. Big inspirations that you have personally.
Man, big inspirations. It's crazy because like I know like there's like new age inspirations that I have, but I know their inspirations. So it's like I almost gotta go back to like the root of it all.
By all means, feel free.
And I think Black Eyed Peas, you know, Will I Am.
There you go.
You know, there's a lot of I love autotune.
Yeah.
Like I see it as an instrument. A lot of people listen to the music and they're like, oh, bro, it's fire, but it's just too much autotune. And I'm like, it's good, bro. It's not for you then. Like, go listen to J. Cole or something.
I mean, T-Pain had a whole
J. Cole, my
career.
boy.
J. Cole's fire. But, like, I think...
It's just, I know, it's
you know what I'm
completely
saying?
different. Type
Everyone
of
has a
stuff.
sound.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
not for you.
But
Akon,
and for me specifically, like, I love it. Like, I love the Will I Am. And so... Like and Travis Scott, Kanye
People
West.
forget how good Will I Am really was.
No, they don't realize that he really
He
inspired the auto-tune wave. Like he embodied it and made it and sold it to the whole world. Like auto-tune is hated.
Dude, I love that answer so much because I never would have thought.
Right?
Black Eyed Peas.
Black Eyed Peas. You know you're
such
singing
a
Boom Boom
good
Pow in
answer,
fourth
bro.
grade. In fourth grade.
For
Boom,
real.
boom, boom, gotta get that. Boom, 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 gotta get that. Boom. Just like what?
Yo, they had that other song that
down.
was like up where they're like, yeah.
Oh yeah.
And I was like,
Pump
yo, yeah, pump. That's what it was.
Pump it louder.
No, the Black Eyed Peas are really them back then, bro. Damn, that
So
was a
definitely-
trip. I'm definitely listening to that in the car.
Yeah,
on my
do
toilet.
it. Do it. But Will I Am, Kanye, Travis, Baby Keem, love Baby Keem, very inspired by Baby Keem.
I noticed you said that you play like piano and keyboard. Any inspirations for that?
Mac Miller.
Rest in peace.
Yeah, rest in peace, Mac, man. He actually was the person that really inspired me to make music. Like I really loved that boom bap hip hop, like that boom bap, like with the old piano in the background, and he just come in and just say some murderous lyrics, like just like stank face, and you know, I related to him just because of the color of his skin. So that gave me the confidence to be able to embody what I wanted to do, and so you know, Mac Miller really inspired me because I saw a YouTube video with him playing a Stevie Wonder song, Isn't She Lovely, when he was in Hawaii making his last album before he passed. And I watched how he was able to feel the keys, and I saw how it made him feel. And then I started like looking at, you know, being in the church, people playing the piano and stuff, and, you know, singing, and just like, I just wanted to be able to feel and express that feeling on the piano. Yeah. So that's really what it was. I just wanted to be able to just, you know, just
I know exactly
like when you get that finish,
yeah,
you know what I mean, like whatever that sounds like.
So for me, that's like guitars. My grandpa, ever since I can remember, was always super into guitar. He could just rip.
And just
so now
rip,
recently,
exactly.
I've been trying to learn how to play.
Yeah.
And so I know exactly what you're talking about.
Just ripping,
that
rip.
Yeah.
Just that's the perfect word for it, is that rip. And then also my dad, I get all my musical abilities from my dad. And that's a whole other story, my relationship with my father. But, you know, if there's some like one really good thing I take away from my dad is like every time I'm with him, you know, I play the old gospel tracks and he's just in there playing the air piano in my car. He's in my car and he's like, I'm just driving, you know, He's just like pretending like there's a piano right there and he's like playing the drums on my dashboard and stuff. And so like just that feeling, you know, and so like in music, being able to create that feeling for other people is why I wanted to learn the piano. Yeah. And you know, it was crazy.
I feel like there's a euphoria seeing people like vibe out to your tracks. Like
for sure.
The vibe in the area is yours, so I love that.
For sure.
And like lastly, what's just one thing you want to tell the people out there listening to this, like in terms of you, your music, something you want them to look out for? Who is Brennen Charles per se?
Man, you're gonna have to look me in the mirror and see that for yourself.
There it is.
I'm not trying to.
There it is. The Mirror. 2/22/22 coming out. 17-song track list. Thank you. We have the Brennen over here, Seattle's own.
Had a great time, man. We'll have to have you back.
Yeah, bro, I love it. Have me back for another episode. This is dope.
Appreciate you. Thank you guys for listening to the Syndicated Podcast.
It's love.